This is David with High Performance Stoicism. I want to talk to you about the Stoic way of setting boundaries. What I'm talking about are your personal boundaries. I think the best way to think about this is to imagine the future. Think about 6 months from now, or a year from now, or 2 years from now. If you practice Stoicism consistently from today until that time in the future, here are some changes that you're going to experience. You're going to be a more solid person. You're going to have a better sense of self and a better sense of unity of self. You're going to be more courageous and you're going to be more self controlled. In addition to that, you're going to be a better person in the following sense: you're going to be kinder to people and you're going to be more patient with them. Part of this is going to come from better understanding what makes people tick and how to deal with them. If you take all those things together by practicing Stoicism, by working on becoming a good, virtuous person, the issue of your boundaries, setting them, that's going to take care of itself. Because the more solid a person you are, the better sense of self you have, the less people are going to push your boundaries. And also, since you actually are quite a very friendly and kind person, that's another reason why people will not push your boundaries, because they won't be seeing you as a typical nice guy. People can sense where that you have a strength that's behind your kindness. So you won't have to really come up with a program to determine how am I going to set my boundaries, as long as you move toward becoming this person, the virtuous person. But what about in the time being? What if you're having some problems this week? And so, where do you need boundaries to be set? People can say things to you or talk to you in a certain way. People can do things in a certain way that demonstrates that they're not being respectful. And people don't like not to be respected. So, what does Stoicism have to say about this? Well, here's a few things in Stoicism that are going to help you to figure out what to do. First, note the things that bother you or have bothered you about people crossing the boundaries, which you, strictly speaking, did not set up for them. You think they should be your boundaries, or it could be something that's going on in your life right now. Here are some things to help you to deal with this kind of situation. So, number one, recognize that some things are in your power and some things are not in your power. What things are not in your power in this situation? The way someone else will respond when you ask them, hey, can you not do that? I don't like that. Okay, so you don't know how they're going to respond. Now, the second thing to note is that you are not wise about the future, meaning you don't know how they will respond. And third, the third thing to note is that things are often worse in imagination than reality. So you imagine someone getting angry or getting outraged by yours telling them, I'd really appreciate if you don't do that. But guess what? A lot of times people will respond well. Sometimes people aren't fully conscious of how they're behaving toward you. And many people think the idea of setting boundaries is it's a showdown. You're going to get tough. But you don't have to do that. You just have to ask the person not to act in the way that's bothering you. And actually, there's a way in which that's much tougher, because someone crosses a boundary and calls you a name that you don't like at a event, and then the next time you get together with them and then you blow up on them, they don't know what's going on. You're the one who is twisted around in your head and made it a bigger deal than maybe it should have been, and then you actually look weaker in that scenario. So don't think about all those things that don't be overcome by your imagination of what would happen. Just think about what you should do, and you should just say in a calm, polite way that what you don't like and how you'd like them to act. Now, the last thing to note in Stoicism that's going to help you set your boundaries is nothing that happens outside of you is either good or bad. No external event is either good or bad. So someone calls you a name you don't like, that's not bad. There's nothing bad about it. The Stoics don't believe that insults are a real category of harm. It's not a harm because as long as you're being a good person, a self-controlled, excellent, courageous person, and a kind person, then you cannot be harmed. And what someone says about you, strictly speaking, in the Stoics, doesn't really harm you at all. But there might be reasons why you still want to set the boundaries because you do want to be respected, and that's fine. That is actually a just thing to do. And that's why I believe a polite approach is best because one of the things you're doing is you're giving that person a chance to do better. If you come in a confrontational way, then you look foolish and you would actually be foolish by making a big scene of something. And the person, as I said before, may not know that they crossed the line because you really weren't standing up for yourself the first time. So Stoicism gives you a ton of tools to for all kinds of situations that people can be in, but standing up for yourself, just be polite, just be calm and say, here's what I don't want you to do. I don't like it, and that's it, and that should be the end of it. So, comment, like, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video.